welcome to Coffee with Joy. I'm your favorite host, Joy, with Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast. I am so excited, so elated to have my guest, Briana, as we talk about a piece of life. I know the statistics are high on foster care, but as a child starts to age, life just starts to get very troublesome. Well, today my guest has started a foundation, and I'm so excited to hear all about it and how she started, what's the next level, and how she's celebrating, these young kids' life, and how she's able just to bring a piece of joy into their life in their arena. So after these messages, we're going to talk to my guest Briana as we talk about a piece of life. Stay tuned after these messages.
Joy, host of Coffee with Joy. Got a story, a business, or an idea you'd love to share over a good cup of coffee? I want to meet you. Come be my guest on the show. We celebrate voices big and small. And
Welcome to Coffee with Joy. So excited to have you all. I'm going to bring my guest Briana on. Hey.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you again for being on Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast. So we're going to jump right in. So you can tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get right into our whole conversation.
Yes. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. My name is Briana Richards, and I am the founder of a nonprofit organization called Memories Foundation, and we celebrate the birthdays and milestones for youth in foster care. We started out in Prince George's County, but have now expanded to different counties in Maryland, such as Charles County, Montgomery, Howard, and Anne Arundel County. So I'm super excited for this conversation and just to talk about my overall journey.
Oh my goodness, this is truly amazing. Because when I first saw you on social media, I was just like so elated, like, wow, just sitting there at awe. Like, wow. And because it's just the small things, right? That really heighten and enlighten an individual life. And we know today's world could be so cruel, but just to give that piece of love and strangers coming to a youth is really enlightening and really bringing joy. So how did this all start? And what was the foundation of building this foundation?
So it's so crazy how it started. So I was actually in college. Mind you, I absolutely hated my major. I was majoring in computer science. I would call my parents crying, like, I do not like this major. I want to do something else. And my parents are Caribbean. So they were like, stick with the major. You're going to do well financially. Don't just stick with computer science. And so I was like, all right, there has to be something within computer science, something in technology that will pique my interest. And so it just happened that during that time, there were so many missing girls in DC. And so it was getting a lot of media attention. And I've heard of kidnapping before, but I've never heard of so many people going missing at once. And so I just did my research, and then I learned about human trafficking for the first time. And it was just one of those things that as soon as I learned about it, I just could not stop reading on it. And so I was like, wait, I think I might have found my thing. So I started to learn how you can use technology to combat human trafficking. So I actually started to give technical talks on campus on how to use technology to combat human trafficking. And then I went a step further and started to give non-technical talks on human trafficking. And just from there, that was really the start to everything in my anti-human trafficking journey. Mm-hmm. And so once I graduated college, I was like, okay, well, let me just bring it back. While I was in college, in my research, I learned that many victims of human trafficking were once in foster care. Mm-hmm. And so I said, okay, I'm passionate about fighting against human trafficking. I want to do it by specifically focusing on youth in foster care. And then from there, I just started to work with youth in care. I started to really listen to a lot of those who had lived experiences and hear about their stories growing up. I was never celebrated. I never felt love. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel valued. And then when I would work with youth, I saw that the celebrations were being missed. So I said, you know what? Why don't I create an organization where, and mind you, during the time, this is a pandemic, I'm watching Girlfriends. Girlfriends is in the background. I have my journal and I'm like, okay, what are ways that I can celebrate youth in care? And so birthdays was one of them and milestones was another thing, but it just truly all started from not liking where I was currently in terms of what I was majoring in to now being blossomed into a whole nonprofit.
Wow, this is truly tremendous because I think people really don't understand the whole background of foster care. They just think, hey, parents don't want their kids and that's it. Not knowing there's like a whole lineage of issues that come along with it, and really how many parents, and and just me, reading into it, and of course watching the news, as some parents, they don't want older kids, right? So it's like they really are like lost in the sauce, right? And really don't have a way out. So this is amazing just to hear how it links with trafficking, because again,
yes,
as they get older, they need money. And if you don't have family, you don't have nowhere to stay. So it's like, not to say that this is an opportunity, but opportunity in sense is not always good. So this
Right.
is down the path. So how did you come up with Memories Foundation about, evolving as your organization starts to evolve?
Yeah, so you wanna know how I got the name Memories
Correct.
Foundation?
Yes.
Yes. So it was crazy because during that time, I did have a nice birthday party for my mom.
Mhm.
So as I said, we're Caribbean, so we celebrate everything.
Yeah.
So we're a very celebratory family. And so I was having a conversation about her birthday, and she was like, "You know what? That birthday was just, oh, so many memories. It was so memorable." And I was like, Memories Foundation.
Oh, wow.
Actually got it
Yes.
from my mom, and again, like, growing up, so it's so funny because now what we do is birthday deliveries for Memories Foundation. So we celebrate by going to a youth's front door, we sing happy birthday, Stevie Wonder style, and then we deliver a customized birthday package. So it's a gift from their wish list, a treat of their choice, a birthday card. And we sing happy birthday again, and we bring balloons. And then just, it's so funny because growing up, I was always celebrated. And
Right.
my birthdays were a huge deal. So it's kind of almost like feeling like I'm paying it forward. Like, I
Correct.
was just blessed with always being celebrated. And so now I'm in position to celebrate others. And decided to focus on youth and care.
That's amazing, because definitely I was thinking when you said that, paying it forward, because now that,
Mhm.
hey, I know what that feel like. I want other kids to feel like. I want
Yes.
other, youth to feel like this. So,
Yeah.
what has been like the ups and downs of even getting started and even just trying to track youth, of trying to make sure that you celebrate them and, gather people to to have that feeling, so that, they feel warm and excited knowing that they are seen.
Yeah, I will say, of course, with anything that you're building is trials and tribulations. And so my first year of building Memories Foundation, I would go on Instagram and I would do lives, and I would say, I'm celebrating the birthdays of youth in foster care, thinking I'm like, foster parents are going to be blowing my inbox up.
Right.
And I didn't get any requests. Was like, what? I was like, I know there's youth in foster care in Prince George's County. What is happening? And so I eventually started to get a couple of requests. And then I was listening to a podcast, and it was talking about marketing. And they were saying how people don't do old school guerrilla marketing. People don't go up to firms anymore and say, this is who I am. And I was like, okay, you know what? I went and ordered cookies. I
Mhm.
went to a foster care agency. I reached out to say, hey, can I come and tell you about my organization? Went to the foster care agency. And then from there, that's when everything started to shift. So then I started to get requests from youth who were currently in care. And then in the beginning, it really just started as like family, close friends. But as I started to continue to be consistent on social media, that's when I really started to get volunteers reaching out. I would say right now, about 80 to 90% of our volunteers right now are from TikTok. So
Okay.
it is just really in terms of just talking online about this is what we do, whether it's showing a post of a birthday delivery, me talking about it, or just people being excited about the nonprofit. So really, I was able to contact the agency, able to talk about it online, and that's how I really started to get people who were really interested in celebrating youth and care.
Wow, truly amazing. I mean, I'm telling you, I when I researched and I looked and I said, wow, this has to be, I'll wait to know a little bit more. Of course, I dissected your page, of course, and asking questions for people who do not understand, or people who, just their first time hearing
Mhm.
about it. And, seeking how one person could really bring light to others.
Yeah.
Now, when people wants to volunteer, how can they join your organization, and how are they able to, or if anybody would like to contribute, how can they contact you, or what is the protocol that needs to be completed?
Yes, so they can do so by visiting my website. Our website is www.memoriesfdn.org, and you can click on volunteer, or you can click donate. So if you click volunteer, I'll be reaching out to you, and then donate, you'll be able to make your donation there.
And the reason why I said it, because, a lot of people, they may not have the time to come, and sing happy birthday.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
still, even though I know we're in the times where our world seems to be upside down, but there is a God that says, hey, nothing's too hard for him. So
Yeah.
but there are people who are willing to, still give. And even if, hey, we willing to do a wholesale balloon, you may have to blow it up, just
Yeah.
to be able to participate and give in that area. But it's still a big donation, because it really helps the organization to go further. So now, what are like the age targets? What are the children ages that you target? And I know you started in PG, which is Prince George's County,
Mhm.
but have you bled over into any other county or city? And how has that venture been taken?
Yes. So in terms of our ages, we do all youth and care. So from ages 1 to 21. So in Maryland, the age for to age out of foster care is 21.
Okay.
So we definitely cover all of those ages. And the reason why I did that is, again, this all started from the basis of fighting against human trafficking and
Right.
that link and hearing those who had, again, lived experiences. When I was little, I didn't feel seen, I didn't feel loved, I wasn't celebrated. And a lot of times when youth are vulnerable, they then end up in something like human trafficking. And so I was hearing all different ages. So I said, you know what? We're going to make sure that we do this for all youth in foster care.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's how we said it. I don't remember your second question, but that's how those are the groups that we focus on, age groups.
Oh no, I was just stating, how did you like now what is the next adventure like after the age and
Mhm.
how is someone willing to you started in Prince George's County.
Yes,
And so how
yes.
did you
Okay.
bleed over into, we located next to DC, Montgomery County, and
Uh-huh.
so
Yeah. So outside of Prince George's County, we are in Montgomery County, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, Charles County. But the crazy thing is I'm so proud of myself. I've been so consistent on TikTok. I used to be a TikTok hater. I was like, I'm not posting on there. As soon as I started posting, we've gotten requests from all over the country, from Nevada. We've had from California, from New York, from Philly. So it's like, wow. And then everyone's like, this needs to be nationwide. And I believe so. And I think it's so important. So currently, we're still just in Maryland. However, the goal is for expansion to expand to DC, expand to Virginia, and then just to continue to expand out. So eventually, that it truly is nationwide.
wow. So how often do you do it? Knowing that, with the volunteers to gather people, like how
Yeah.
often does it take place for when you do celebrate the youth?
Yeah, so the birthdays are pretty frequent. So I would say on average, currently right now, we haven't reached out to any other agencies to grow because we're really truly building now. But as of now, we can have a range from about 5 to 10, depending on the month.
Mm. Oh, okay.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, so so it's like a consistent day or it's just when the
Nope.
call is needed?
We try to do the day of their birthday. So
Gotcha.
I try to make sure none of the volunteers do anything on a Sunday, but other than a Sunday, we definitely want to make sure that we're there on a weekday. So, for instance, if a birthday is on a Wednesday, of course, a lot of times our volunteers are working. So we do our deliveries at 6:30 p.m. to make sure that the volunteers that are available can attend. And then for the weekends, we make sure that it's about 11:30. So we're not taking up your whole day. The goal is to allow you to be able to show up for youth and care, but not spend all of your time. And
Yeah.
so, because again, it can be a lot. A lot of times with different organizations, if it requires too much, you kind of start to lose volunteers. So
Yeah.
here's how you can spend 10 minutes of your day at max to
Mhm.
celebrate a youth in care and as a means to fight against human trafficking. And it's simple as we sing Stevie Wonder style happy birthday. We give them their customized birthday package, and it's a way for you to give back, but it's also a way for them to be celebrated. And one thing I want to add about the customized birthday packages, when I
Yes.
was listening to podcasts with those with lived experiences, they would say, I never got to choose the cake that I wanted. Nothing in foster care, I was able to choose what
Mhm.
I wanted. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Whatever we put in this bag is something that they want. So the gift that's in this bag is something that they've requested. This cake that we're giving is because they requested this cake. And so just making sure that they also have the will to say, this is what I want, and you actually get what you want.
So so you said that they get the item that they want. So
Mhm.
how's the organization connected in order to make sure that they get the item or hopefully one out of the three items that they get? So how do you orchestrate that to ensure that they get what they're looking for?
Yeah, so there's two separate ways. One,
Okay.
if we work specifically with the agency, a lot of times they'll just provide us with the foster parents' information. And so
Okay.
we reach out directly to the foster parent. We say, what does this child
Mhm.
like? What type of desserts do they like? And they give us typically a wish list. A lot of
Okay.
times the teenagers, they just want money. So
Yeah.
most of our teenagers were just giving Visa gift cards. But that's how it works for the agencies. Now, if it's someone who's not a part of an agency, maybe they saw us online, they can fill out a form. And on that form, it will say, what type of gifts do they like? What type of treats do they like? Do they have allergies? And then there's some kids that may not want us to sing happy birthday to them. So you can
Yeah.
also choose the option to not have us
Mm.
sing. We'll just provide the birthday package.
Wow. I know
Yeah.
that Google Doc has gotten kind of lengthy, right?
Yeah.
Over time, like you say, it's trial and error because
Yes.
many people just want, hey, I just want the balloons and that's it, or the cake, because I would never have thought nobody don't want to sing, don't want the birthday. because there are people who are introverts, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
and kids, and people have to understand that kids are human. You know, they come with
Yes.
things, they just don't know how to express their way, you know, and
Mhm.
they deal with anxiety, they deal with issues that we deal with, as when I say we, as in parentheses, adults, they
Right.
just don't know how to do it. So I know with this lengthy, you know, Google Doc, I'm assuming, right, that
Yeah.
you go ahead and check off just to make sure that the youth need is met and that they feel warm, because again, that's the denominator, right? To make
Yeah.
sure that they feel great and excited. Now, can you talk about how the youth feels, like what have been like their most joy,
Yeah.
rather from within the age bracket, even from like 1 to 10 and probably 10 to 21? How do the youth feel? Like if you can really detail that for us.
Yeah, so it varies, but majority of the time they are, first of all, they're surprised.
Yeah.
So especially if we're just having a new relationship or partnership with the agency or a social worker, and this is our first time doing the delivery, they're like,
Mhm.
"Who are these people?" And then once they get over that, they're like, "Oh wow, they're singing to me." And some of them, some of
Yeah.
them start dancing and swaying. We had one girl who was dancing. I loved it so much. And so a lot of times they are so happy. Now, other times you can't tell
Yeah.
because sometimes they'll have a straight face.
Yeah.
Sometimes there may not even be any eye contact. I remember there was one birthday where the youth really, and this was a teenager, really just didn't seem interested. And then she reached out to her caseworker the year later and was like, "Hey, are they coming back? Because I want them to come back for my birthday." So
Wow.
you can never really gauge. I always just say, just give it your best, just sing happy birthday, give them what they would like, and then you just hope for the best. But for the most part, everyone is so happy, so excited. I wish I can show people because of course you're not allowed to show their faces and pictures or videos. So you really, all you can see is us. If you've seen our page, you see us, singing happy birthday, but you won't be able to see them. But a lot of times they are so excited. And then even some of the foster parents are just so, and I love that too. When a foster parent is really into it and they come out and they bring their camera and they're just, or they sing with us. So it's honestly, it's such a joyful experience.
Yes. And that's good that you said it, because of course we want to hold their identity, right? Because they're still youth, they're still growing,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
forth. And people need to understand that. And it was a point that you made back earlier where you said marketing, right? And we know that we have social media, we have ways now where
Yeah.
we could cut the middleman out, right? Of trying to go through someone, trying to PR, brand strategist, when we talk about all of that. But sometimes we have to be mindful that these are youth and we just can't just show them off, because you never know what other
Exactly.
leverage will take place, right? So I'm glad that you stated that, just because, we're doing the work, you don't see the kids, but we have to make sure we hold their identity. And that's something that's great, because many people won't do it because they see, I got to get clout. I got to get the numbers up. I got to get the money. But what God has for you is going to build. It's going to come, you know.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
as long as we do the work, we're not looking at, hey, we do it today and get full.
Right.
So, I mean, this has been like, I'm just like overwhelmed. So I have a million and one question. I'm like to myself, calm down. So excited to hear from you, because this is really great to hear that kids are not exempt from problems, right? And
Yes.
to hear that even if you're just giving a piece of joy, you
Mhm.
know, on their day,
Right.
and just to be able to recognize, and for them to know they're going to live with that forever. That's the best
Yes.
part.
Yes.
So their whole retention is going to remember, wow, I will celebrate at least once. If it
Yeah.
doesn't happen again, I will celebrate at least once. So
Yes.
after these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guest Briana, as we're going to talk about what's the next step, where we're going to go from this. So after these messages, please make sure that you, during our commercial, please make sure that you patronize our talk show. Any amount would do. So please make sure you follow the QR codes towards the end. And after these messages, we're going to continue to talk to my guest, Brianna. This is our moment to refocus, recharge, and recommit. So you, too, could join Coffee with Joy show and get in your energy. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Coffee with Joy. I'm going to bring my guest, Brianna, back on.
Hello.
I mean, we had a mouthful earlier, and I
Yeah.
truly, truly enjoy the conversation. So before, now that we're here, where do you see within, I would say, a year to 5 years, what
Yeah.
is your top 3 goals that you hope for Memories Foundation to get to be, if God's willing?
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about where we are now outside of birthdays because we also
Okay,
celebrate milestones as well. So, just to
awesome.
give you an overview of last year for Christmas, we were able to deliver Christmas gifts from a youth wish list. For Thanksgiving, we delivered Thanksgiving groceries to those who aged out of foster care. We also had a partnership with Under Armour where we were able to provide Under Armour gear for youth in care. And so this year we're adding prom to the list. So we're super excited. So prom and homecoming. So we'll be able to allow youth to be celebrated in that way as well. But to move forward, we want to continue the birthdays. We want to continue the milestones. We want to add to the milestones. I've had those who had lived experience say, hey, when it was time for me to go take my driving test, I didn't have anyone who was able to help me. When it came to having essentials, I didn't have the proper essentials. So just making sure that we're continuing to serve youth and care based off of those, again, with lived experiences. Right now, we're doing birthday deliveries to celebrate birthdays, but in the future, we will absolutely be doing in-person birthday parties. And so I am so excited for that because of course the birthday deliveries are amazing. It's showing youth that they matter, that we care for them, but also having the opportunity to have a birthday party where they have friends that they want to invite. And so we're super excited to do that in the future. Of course, we want to expand outside of just Maryland. So we want to be in Maryland, in all parts of Maryland, DC, Virginia, all over Texas, New York, Philly. We pretty much want to be in a place where we are becoming nationwide. So that is the expansion that we want, the in-person birthdays, and then the milestones to cater to, again, things that are truly, truly needed. So whether that's, I heard one of the things that a youth in care said was, when I go to college, I want to make sure that I have all the items that I need. So making sure that we create a program that when it's time for you to go to college, that you have the items you need. When it's time for you to move into that new apartment, you have the supplies that you need. So again, we look to do so much in the future. We are truly just getting started. This is year 5 of
Okay.
the nonprofit, but I always say we are just getting started.
Yeah. Hey, you're
Yes.
fine. Somebody gave up and you did it. That's great. And there's
Yes.
so many great legs there, and of course, there's no rush, right? Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, God is definitely going to say, because He's a God of a redeemer. So it's definitely going to take charge and take a speed. But
Yeah.
at the same time, long as you stay in it no matter what. And I'm just like overjoyed because this is truly great to hear that, as youth today, they're facing so many things that we probably didn't have to deal with. Social media just came in probably like what now, over a decade.
Yeah.
So things that when my mom dealt with, what I dealt with, I didn't have to deal with that as a youth, meaning that cyberbullying, right? Or being teased and immediately it's not just leaving you. When you leave the school grounds, it may be there or it's the playground, but now it's everywhere and it's
Yes.
globally. It's just not local. So this is great just to have a piece of the joy of their life that's there. So now as you're moving forward, like how do you delinquish or allocate the work? Because we know that there's just so much work to be done in the vineyard, right? But
Yes.
who helps you, or and I mean, you don't have to go in full detail, but
Yeah.
just to make sure that you're not cut off, that you're not burned. So if anybody would like to help, or what is it that you're looking? So 2 questions. Let me make sure
Uh-huh.
that's clear. So how do you delegate the job or
Mhm.
help? And
Mhm.
if there's something that you need as of like today, what is something that you would say if someone is listening and say, oh man, I would love to apply for that XYZ. What is
Yeah.
like a position or a position that you would need today to help continue to, move at a moderate pace?
Yeah, so I love this question. This is truly going to show my growth because I am someone who likes to do everything. Oh, I got it. Somebody asked me for help. I'm like, I got it. I got it. I don't need help. Even though I need help, I say I got it. I am in a totally different season. And so I'm so thankful for all of the volunteers. So what we actually did, because again, the volunteers will reach out and say, hey, I know I see you bringing the birthday packages. Like, how do we help with that? And I used to say, oh, no, I just, I got it. Now I don't say that.
Yes.
So we broke up into different groups. So
Okay.
there are people who are like, hey, I can't make the deliveries. It's just a lot for me right now, but I still want to give back.
Mhm.
So I may want to sponsor a birthday cake or a birthday gift or the whole package, or maybe just the birthday balloon. So we have a birthday package sponsors group, and those are the people that can say yes to donating towards something. So it could be something as little as $5 to $75. So we just break it up. So we have the birthday package sponsors. So those are the people that assist outside of the donation, because we still get donations as well, but those are the people who are truly dedicated to sponsoring the birthday packages. Now we have another group who's the admin group. So they're the people that are connecting me. They're the ones that are saying, hey, we found a balloon artist that can help with the balloons. Here's who you should reach out to. Help. Okay, we know we have prom coming. Here's a makeup artist that you should reach out to. So that admin group is amazing because they are connecting the nonprofit to the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, we have the birthday deliveries, and these are our main people who are coming to the deliveries. And then we have other people who are like, hey, I want to focus on milestones. I like the idea of prom. I like the idea of doing Christmas or delivering groceries to those who age out of foster care. So we have those different tiers. So in terms of what we need today, the biggest thing right now is prom. This is our first year doing prom. We are so excited. So what we're going to be doing is providing prom services to those in youth who are currently in care who are going to be attending prom. And so we need makeup artists, we need nail techs, we need anyone who can donate prom dresses. That would be very, very helpful. And outside of prom, if you're someone who has any type of services like a birthday, like you do birthday balloons or any type of balloons, we would love that. If you make cards, if you like to sponsor a gift, so any of that would be very helpful. And of course, another one, it's a lot of help we need.
Right? Yeah.
As we expand, we're absolutely going to need more volunteers. So for instance, when we really go out to deep Charles County, we want to make sure that we have the volunteers. When we go to Baltimore County, when we go to Baltimore City, when we go to Hartford County, we want to make sure that we have the volunteers. So if you are interested, please, and you're not from a county that was listed or mentioned in this podcast, please still reach out because we're going to continue to expand out.
That's amazing because I'm telling you, it's there. It's going to grow, right? And of course, like I tell people, you don't eat a whole plate of food in one bite. So you take a bite at a time. Mm-hmm. So of course, over time, you realize that a eureka come like, oh man, we need this sub area. I need this sub area. Yeah. The reason why I commend you, because I'm just like that. I can do everything. I can do everything. But like you said, I am delegating, but I'm very analytical because I want it done correctly and I want it done right.
Yeah.
God, fix me. Yeah. Sometimes my right may not be exactly what he's looking for because somebody may do it and it's like, oh, wow, you may bring a taste and it's like, I did not see that because our perspectives are different, right? Yeah. I see my way, but I don't see exactly what's behind me, you know? Right. So it's so many different arenas. So I'm learning.
Yes. It's a work in progress.
Yes, definitely in progress. So, I mean, this conversation could go on and on, right? But I truly, and if you can let the people know again, I know we stated earlier, where can they find you and as well as what's the website? Because I think, again, if I can't be there as far as volunteer, I know that either I could give a donation or it may be a baker. It may be someone who, like you stated, a balloon artist who can give their time and say, hey, we're willing to do 4, you know, something of that nature, because every little bit helps and it pushes our goalposts to further to success. So if you can let the people know your website again, as well as where can they find you on social media?
Yes. Okay. So our website is www.memoriesfdn.org. So that's our website. If you're on Instagram, you can follow us at Memories Foundation. And then also, if you want to email us, it's info@memoriesfdn.org. And so that's the best way to contact me. I also want to just give a shout out to the community because yes, I'm here. I'm the founder of Memories Foundation, but this is truly moving because of the community. We have received so much support from people who are either coming to the deliveries, who are either sponsoring, who are even just reposting some of the posts that we have and may share with the foster parent or just people who are following them. So thank you in advance for anyone who reaches out. And I just want to thank everyone who has been so supportive thus far. And thank you, Joy, for having me and allowing me to speak on Memories Foundation. When you reached out, I was so excited because I'm so honored. This is my first podcast speaking on Memories Foundation. So I will always remember this. And I'm just so thankful that you were interested and you invited me to your podcast.
I'm just grateful for the piece of information to be on our show. Thank you so much because of people like you, Coffee with Joy exists and we're able just to normalize difficult conversation and really bring things that people don't think about. And it's like, it's there, but now it's like heightened. Like, oh wow, I
Yeah.
didn't think about that. How it's a diamond in a rut, and knowing that I could still give life to something that looks dead, because again, many people look at foster kids and they don't even probably equate trafficking with that, right?
Right. Yeah.
If they're not in that arena, because we
Yes.
know parts of the world, parts of the country
Yeah.
where certain things are heightened and people do not make that connection. And so just to bring this information forward, I know it's nowhere but growth. And
Yes.
thank God, just able just to add more water to this plant. And I know it's just going to grow completely. Well, we know you're busy, you're constantly growing and moving, but how do you keep yourself going? What is it that keeps Briana going through prayer, affirmation? What keeps her going, knowing that life is lifing?
In life. This is gonna probably sound so crazy. You probably didn't think this would be an answer,
Okay.
but I think knowing that one day there's gonna be the last day, my last day, it
Mhm.
keeps me going. It really does because I know one day I won't be here. So I want to do all the things. I want to live in peace. I want to live and giving back. Like I want to do all the things that God has called me to do. I want to do all the things, all the desires of my heart. And
Yeah.
so honestly, that keeps me going. And so that doesn't
Mhm.
mean work until the wheels fall off. That is
Right, right, right,
absolutely not what it means. But I'm really taking in the moments. Even when I go on these deliveries, I'm like, wow, like this started off as something like a deposit from God, like
right.
something that He called me to do. And we're doing it, and kids are happy. Wow, I have a community who's with me. And so just even living out loud, I have a little son, he's an 8-month old, and
Oh,
just having
yes.
him come on the deliveries too, like just taking in the moments. But I know that one day God will call me home. But while I'm here, I just want to do it all. I truly do.
Amen. Amen. Yes, yes. The work is plenty, but the laborers are few. So we know that people, hopefully, they hear and they give just an ounce. If everyone give a little, we're
Yes.
able to build and see growth grow from there. So as always, Brandon, thank you so much for being on Coffee with
Yes,
Joy.
you're welcome.
And we know nothing but success will be towards your organization. And we know that each and every child that you touch, we know that we're bringing light towards, and we know that the love will always continue on for decades to come. So
Yes.
thank you again. So please make sure that if you love to be on Coffee with Joy, please make sure that you follow our website, which is thecoffeewithjoyshow.com, as well as if you would like to email us at thecoffeewithjoyshow@gmail.com. And if you'd like to patronize our company, please make sure that you follow our QR codes, for we know any amount would do. But we know that this was a great organization. So if you like to pour in, please make sure that you follow the website to Memories Foundation so that you're able to pour in. And it's just a little. If you just have a little, and that little could be anything, whether $5
Mhm.
or you're willing to bake a cake, your help is always great and needed. So, as you always know, if it's a weekday or a weekend, it's Coffee with Joy. Until then, you all live life on purpose. See you all soon.